This is habit 2 in our workshop, Lessons for Africa from 8 Habits of Ordinary Looking American Millionaires. We've finished discussing habit 1. Remember, our objective is to craft an African wealth building culture by learning from societies where a significant proportion of ordinary people have become wealthy. Habit 2, we are discussing that the millionaires, the best wealth builders, allocate their time, energy, and money to building wealth. Now, the best wealth builders allocate their time, energy, and money in ways that are consistent with increasing their net worth. They often have similar goals with the worst wealth builders. The difference comes from how much time they spend on wealth building. The best wealth builders, research shows, allocate twice the number of hours per month to planning their financial investments compared to the worst wealth builders. The best wealth builders spend more time consulting with professional investment advisors, searching for quality accountants and lawyers and investment counselors, attending investment and planning seminars, and such activities that contribute to building wealth. In addition to this, the best wealth builders spend less time worrying about their economic well-being. The worst wealth builders, on the other hand, are much more concerned about failing to get wealthy enough to retire in comfort or failing to accumulate significant wealth. As these worst wealth builders spend more of their time worrying about these things and failing to take proactive steps to change their tendencies to overconsumption, underinvestment, these fears become real. They get realized in their lives because they are worrying, but they continue over-consuming and they continue under-investing. The best wealth builders, on the other hand, earn similar incomes to the worst wealth builders. The difference is they have fewer worries about net worth and similar things. They aren't afraid of having to lower their standard of living. They aren't afraid that their income won't be high enough to satisfy their family's purchasing habits. Research shows that certain professions that earn high income tend to be worse wealth builders. Why? They spend a lot and invest little. That's where the difference is. High income, low net worth. They spend a lot and invest little. They have low propensity to accumulate significant wealth. They get a very late start in their earnings race after spending a lot of time in school. They start many years after other professions have started, and they spend a lot. They spend their savings, they spend parents' money, and sometimes even borrowed money on living costs and other expenses. And so wealth is blind to the education level of its holder. Even if you are highly educated, you are from a profession where you have to spend a lot of time in school. If there is no attention paid to saving and investment, you won't have wealth. The income may be high, but the net worth will be low. The best wealth builders know this, and that's why they take time to plan their budgets. The worst wealth builders have no control over their family's consumption patterns and expenditure other than their household income limit. For them, the realized income is the only factor that limits or checks how much they consume. What does that mean? They consume until it is all over. That's when they stop to consume. The households of best wealth builders operate on fairly well thought out annual budgets. The worst wealth builders have no budget at all. Many times they don't have any budget. They have a tendency to operate without a budget. And that is like running a business with no plan, no goals, and no direction. You see, so that's why it challenges wealth building, even with a high income. Doctors, engineers, lawyers, and those are high income professions. But we discussed that high income doesn't automatically convert to high wealth accumulation, because many people consume everything. Like we said, the earned income is the only limit. They spend until it is all over. That's when they stop or even take debt. The best wealth builders consume at the same level as the average family that earns about a third of their income. They earn a certain income, but they are consuming at the level of households that earn a third of what they earn. That means they try to run on much lower amount of money than actually what they earn. The worst wealth builders actually don't know how much their families spend each year on food, clothing, shelter, because they don't spend much time planning their financial future. They don't actually practice frugality. Like we said, the best wealth builders are frugally oriented. They buy high quality, for which they seek special pricing, discounts, but ensuring that they get high quality. And that frugal nature is part of their lives, but it was also part of their socialization as they grew up, as they went through youth time. They save as a rule, even with the low income. They look at the savings as the first step to investment. They get socialized actually in that discipline of saving right from childhood, and they see savings as the means to lay aside something with which to take advantage of any opportunities that may emerge. So that is our habit 2 on the best wealth builders. Maybe just a point or two as we close this one about the couples, the best wealth builder couples, because wealth building is a team activity in those households that do well in wealth building. The best wealth builders have couples that communicate with each other about resource allocation. They have a conversation about resource allocation, and this challenges our practice in the African setting. One of the things that gets challenged is communication within the couple. Once we start to feel wealthy, one of the things that gets challenged is communication. So the best wealth builders, from research, from societies that have accumulated wealth, is that they communicate with each other about resource allocation. They use budgeting to control their consumption lifestyle. They avoid expenditure in upscale shopping places. They list both their purchases on one shopping list each month. These are found by research. They are found from research. They monthly determine allocation for each consumption type. They annually budget allocation for each expenditure category. They coordinate their expenditure, their planning, their budgeting, their consumption. It is coordinated. You see? And they also buy services that help them control their family consumption. They know what their family spends for each product or service because they keep accurate records of every expenditure. Now, you may say, that is quite a bother. Probably it's not as bothersome as lacking wealth. Lacking wealth. If this is the price to pay to cultivate, to build wealth, then it's worthwhile, given the advantages that wealth brings, the possibilities that wealth brings, the open doors that are opened by a high level of wealth. If this is the price, then probably it's worth it. A key question to ask is, what is the reverse? If we avoid to pay this price and we live freely, we don't subject ourselves to frugality, we don't subject ourselves to consciousness about how we invest our time, energy, then what is that? What is that? What is the reverse? Because it will culminate in low levels of wealth or no wealth at all. The pain of having low levels of wealth accumulation begin to bite when the high income is gone. Because we have emphasized that the high income is different from high wealth, high levels of wealth accumulation. Let's close with this note here about the children of the worst wealth builders. In many households, children form a bigger number of the family members, or an equal number. But also in many families, children's expenditure on growing, school, and other expenses forms a significant portion of the expenditure of the household. And that's why they are important as we discuss wealth building. Now, something interesting about the children of worst wealth builders is that they are exposed to very high consumption with few economic constraints. No planning, no budgeting, and no money discipline. They are hooked to every product-related desire. They are eager, always eager to buy. There is addiction to undisciplined high consumption lifestyle, inability to earn incomes that can support such a lifestyle. You see, high income, but there is no ability to earn high consumption without ability to earn the income to support that kind of lifestyle. They have lived in a high consumption environment that they cannot sustain on their own if they leave home or when they leave home. So their life circumstances show a dark curtain of financial distress coming down on a family. You see, you have people who are growing and coming in the church, but their consumption is way above ability to earn. And in those households, parents always fear their children won't generate income at the level at which they have grown up consuming. Parents are burdened by economically dependent adults. And so you see, that is part of the cost of not spending the time, the energy to cultivate a culture, to craft a culture that favors wealth building. What happened to the children of the best wealth builders? Let's finish with that one. They demonstrate more independence and discipline. They are exposed to frugality, well-planned and disciplined lifestyle. So they have grown up consuming at a level that is in line with earnings, which is actually less than a third of their household income. Now what happens is that they become economically disciplined and self-sufficient adults who grew up living below their means. So this shows a likelihood of becoming best wealth builders in their own right when they are adults. They are more likely because of the lifestyle they have grown up under. Although parents have means to give economic outpatient support to their adult children in this best wealth builder household, the children live above the economic distress that triggers parental economic support. The children don't need it. They are used to living with frugality, they are used to disciplined lifestyle, and they have less perceived need for economic outpatient care, for economic support in adulthood, support by parents in adulthood. So you can see the difference in the best wealth builder households and the different and the worst wealth builder households. You see the difference. But the difference comes that the one of these households, sets of households, allocates time, gives energy, gives money to craft a culture. This is not something which is well grounded in our African way of building wealth. We are not conscious, very conscious. Many of the things which we allocate time, energy, and money to once we begin to feel wealthy are actually contrary to wealth building. They subtract from our energy, our time, and the money we are investing in the goal, in the objective of wealth building. Thank you very much for your partnership in this second habit, habit 2. Welcome to habit 3. Habit 3 will discuss that the millionaires value financial independence over displaying high financial status. That's what we will discuss in habit 3.